Welcome to A108, coming to you live from B2R Studios at Living Arts College. I'm your host, George White. This week we have Kaya Black in the studio. How you doing today, Kaya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we're gonna start off with some basic information about you. Where are you from?
I was born in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. Left there when I was about, I want to say about 1982. I was born in 78. Um, Left there in 82. Um, and then I moved all over. My mom worked for the United Nations, so I moved everywhere. Um, lived in France, Barbados, and the U.S.
That's really cool. That's really cool. What inspired you to get into music?
I think it was my dad. Um, my dad was a famous photographer. Is a famous photographer. He took pictures of Bob Marley. Um, you know, Bands like Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers, Black Uhuru, reggae bands, and just being around that, being around just the aura of famous people, just really kind of captivated me. And then just from there I was like, okay, I just gravitated to it, so it's not really a choice in the matter. I
Right,
have to do it.
right. Understandable. Um, when would you say you picked up your first instrument?
um I mean, I think, as a kid you kind of like, you see a guitar, and as a little kid you always strum the guitars and
Right.
strum the strings and be like, hey, that's the sound this makes and everything like that. I think I picked up the guitar when I was about, really seriously, when I was about 12 or 13. um I want to say I started with piano first. I took a year of piano, and um then I took guitar, and then I took bass, and everything evolved from that. I don't know how to read music, so to speak, so I do everything by feel and by ear.
That's what's up. Um, what was the first tune you learned on piano when you first started?
Um, let's see. I think the first tune Heart and Soul.
Heart and Soul.
I think that was the big dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. you know um that's the first, and chopsticks, those kind of
Okay.
things on the piano. um yeah, I think that was the first song I really learned, if you want to count that.
Okay. Do you have any famous pianists or guitar players that you look up to?
um of course, Bob Marley is my number one songwriting. um but in terms of a piano player, songwriter, Lionel Richie.
Oh,
Lionel Richie, Lionel Richie, he writes those songs that are very, um, like, you're like, man, I wish I wrote that. And the songs are so simple. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're sitting at the piano and you're like, you're sitting there and you're like, I've been alone with you inside my mind. You sit there and you're like, man, I wish I wrote. And like, you sit there and you're like, why didn't I come up with that? And it's like, it's like he puts what you want to say into a song. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And it's like, most people have actually got, most kids have been conceived to listening to a Lionel Richie song. I mean, let's
Hmm.
face it.
Okay. You are watching A108 in the B2R Studios at Living Arts College. Let's see. Next, what would you say your fondest memory of musical experience would be so far?
Um, Fondest musical experience.
Yes.
Um, I think would be meeting my idol, next to Bob Marley. Well, I haven't met Bob Marley, but Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. Um, I met him backstage at a show, and just he see the thing about Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20 is, I started writing because of that, man. I started really looking at myself and being like, this is the kind of stuff I wanted to write. And, it was like, okay. And then, as I started really working towards networking, I networked with Nick Lippman of Lippman Entertainment, who works for Rob Thomas, who manages Rob Thomas. And that's really the person that I really was like, wow, that's cool.
Right. Okay. Um, do you get nervous before any performances that you have?
Um, I, I think everybody has that backstage. Oh crap, I'm about to go on. It's like I think everybody has that. Please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. Please don't mess
Yeah.
up. And it's like once the first note hits, you're like, okay, I got to do this. There's no turning back. So everything up to that point of you know oh, I got to do this, and then when you play the first note, you're like, it just all goes away, and then you hear the crowd reaction and the feedback, and it's the nerves go away. So yeah, you always get nervous. You always get that whole I wonder situation.
Right. Right. Do you have any tunes you'd like to play for us today?
Um, Here's a tune that I wrote on the piano. I think it was one of the first songs I wrote on the piano, and it's about interesting story about this song is you ever come to the point to where you're talking to a girl and you realize you're kind of clicking, you're like, oh, I'm really digging this girl, but then I found out that she was actually getting married like two
Mm.
weeks later, and we just starting hitting it off and really connecting and really being like, and so it's like, man, you know why didn't I just say this like before? You know what I'm saying? And it was one night in particular that we just sat there. We just locked ourselves in a room, and it was nothing intimate. It was more like a conversation. And I went upstairs, and I was mad at myself because I was like, okay, why couldn't I tell her I liked her so much? Why couldn't I tell her that I like her? And I just woke up. I just got frustrated, and I went up to my room, and I wrote this song called "Did I Ever Tell You?" And it goes something like this. I never thought I could feel this way. I think about you every day. And they say love is a wonderful thing. It's like flowers in bloom in spring. But did I ever tell you you mean the world to me? With you gone, I don't know who I'd be. Did I ever tell you I fell in love with you now? But it's too late now. Now I'm feeling blue. It was late one night. It was you and me talking about love and what we'd be. I was sitting on the floor Now I'm feeling blue. I'm feeling blue, 'cause I never got to tell you. Oh, but did I ever tell you you mean the world to me? With you gone, I don't know who I'd be. Did I ever tell you I fell in love with you now? But it's too late now. Now I'm feeling blue. I'm feeling blue. Did I ever tell you you mean the world to me? With you gone, I don't know who I'd be. Did I ever tell you I fell in love with you now? But it's too late now. Now I'm feeling blue.
That was Kaya Black. And what would you say the title of that song was?
Feeling blue. It's a working title. It's Did I ever tell you feeling blue? I'm still working with it, and you were actually the first ones to really hear that, in full form. But that's probably going to be my next single.
Really good song. I like it. Um, let's see. Do you perform in public a lot?
Um, I prefer recording. I think I'm just starting to get the feel of performing again. I mean, I've the thing about me is I used to be in a band, and I've learned that I'm too just picky about what I want. And so this is my first time really as a solo artist and really focusing on honing my craft. So to answer your question, no, I haven't really played out just because I'm in the process of rebranding myself as Kaya Black, not so much, as an entity. So there's stuff coming out. Um, but it's weird because I kind of like the reaction of people
Mm-hmm.
when I'm playing a show, but at the same time, I like the creativity of what I call puking out ideas. You know what I'm saying? I think songwriting is like an illness, and when you're really have all these thoughts in your head, recording is actually the thought of puking all these ideas. And when you're recording them on paper, that's your canvas, that's your art form. And to hear back something that you wrote, and be like, wow, okay, cool,
Facts, facts. Do you have any studios that you go to now or any engineers that you work with personally?
Um, let's see. I don't know if you remember the band Color Me Bad. I wanna sex you up all
Yeah.
night. I won't. Um, about 2 years ago, I recorded. I had the Color Me Bad on their album. They had a song called "I Adore Me More." Um, um, and it was a big hit in the '90s. And his name is Hamza Lee. He produced that song, and one of my songs was actually recorded in Oklahoma City, and he produced that song. And it's not really the studio I like to work with; it's the people that I like to work with.
Okay.
I think the engineer is what makes it. Um, I mean, sure, the vibe and the aura of
Right,
the
right.
recording studio is cool and everything like that, but it's really the about the rapport you have with the producer, the rapport you have with the engineer, that can really be like, okay, I like this, because you could record in your room,
Right.
and that's what a lot of people are doing. Are they're renting a house and they're bringing their whole gear into the house and they're recording, and some of the best stuff. Like there's this band called Incubus that I don't know if you've heard of. They recorded a Morning View in a house in California. They didn't even bother go record it at some big studio. It was like, okay, let's rent a house for the summer and let's all hang out and record. That's what people are doing now.
Facts. That's true. That's very true. Do you have a job that you do now, specifically key to music?
Um, I do a lot of voiceovers and a lot of radio production, audio production, um, you know, and scoring. I've kind of started writing and recording, but the biggest thing about music is kind of like, okay, coming up with jingles. I'm like, why hasn't anybody come up with that kind of jingle?
Right.
You know, like I'll give you an example. Why has anybody, you like Monster?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know, find the monster in you. Those
Right.
kind of title. I'm like, why hasn't anybody come up with that? You know, it's like that like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Wow, so good. Little jingles like that. I kind of like.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You are watching A108 in B2R Studios at Living Arts College. With you said you do radio and voiceovers and things.
Mm-hmm,
Is there a specific radio station that you work at, or is it more
mm-hmm.
locally?
Now I've done now I've done so much of independent, like voiceovers for commercials, like I call it the inner world,
Yeah.
those kind of voiceovers. And that actually happened because your mom's like, you're gonna do something with your voice, and it's like, no. And the funny thing about I actually used to do the commercial, the TV commercial for Living Arts College, the voiceover for Living Arts College. There's a commercial, and there's a um somewhere there is a voiceover that I did for the Welcome to Living Arts College thing. That's my voice.
Okay, that's really neat. It's really neat. How often how often do you practice on a daily or weekly schedule with your
Whew.
music?
Whenever I get the chance, I think you know, with me, it's not really sit down and practice. It's like whenever I'm at the piano, I'll give you an example. When I'm at the piano, I've you know so I'll practice that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I'll have. Like that's a working something I'm working on. And everybody has that thing of no, they don't know the words to it, but they're like da 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 da. So in terms of practice, no, I don't practice. Okay, this is C, this is D, this is those kind of things.
Right.
But it's more or less of I practice till I get the next note. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't sit there and I'm um, like I don't like to force to write.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about me is I never use a pen and paper to write because mm, when you listen to a song, you have that one chance to listen to a song,
Right.
and then you decide whether you want to hear it again. So if I can't make that song memorable to myself to where I'm like, oh, okay, I forgot that. There's a funny song about a song called you know, Nothing to Show, um, to where I call it the pee break song or the morning after pee. Remember? And your best stuff comes up in the shower or when you first wake up and you use the bathroom and you're like and you come up with that.
Right.
Um, and you're sitting there, and I remember writing a song called "Did I," Nothing to Show, and I was like, I guess da 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 fa fa da da fa fa da fa da. And I called up my friend, and I was like, "Yo, what'd you think of this?" Ah, da da fa fa da. And it turned into something. Now, the only thing I had to that song was and then I was like, okay, that hook stuck to me.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. And the words slowly started coming up. I guess I've got nothing to show except my love for you, I guess. And then it's kind of like, when you're writing a paper
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, okay, I got to write that paper. And then you have the main idea, So the thing is like, I guess I've got nothing to show except my love for you. So I build my verses around the main idea. And then, it's like, okay, describe the chorus to come up with the verse,
Okay.
and describe that. So it's kind of like a storyline.
Right.
And then I slowly, it'll be months later, and I come up with the verse where I finally finish the song like 3 months later.
Yeah, songs definitely take time to come up with and get all your ideas and creativity out with. But do you feel like you could teach anybody who would want to learn piano or guitar? You think you could be a musical teacher in any sort?
I think a lot of it is inspiration. I think some with music it can't be taught. I mean, you could be like, okay, this is a E, this is a C, you know. Yeah, I could teach that till I'm blue in the face. But a lot of people that learn music, they're like, okay, can you do with a C, and what can you do with a D, you know? Um, and that's the key thing is I can't teach you inspiration, and I think that's what the thing that you have to learn, because if you are inspired, you're going to continue it. And a lot of people been like, okay, I'm learning piano, but I don't have the motivation. I didn't do anything with it.
Right.
So, I um if my songs get you inspired and makes you want to learn, that's cool. But in terms of me sitting down with you and being like, C E F G,
Mm-hmm.
that I could teach you that, but it's up to you to take it to the next level.
Right. Understandable. Understandable. Do you have any favorite restaurant or food that inspires you with music?
Wow. Do I have a favorite restaurant that inspires? I think in Raleigh.
Anywhere.
Um. Uh. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Any Jamaican food. I think. You know. Whenever like a good Jamaican beef patty. And lately I've been going back to my roots in terms of reggae. So it's like, yo, this Jamaican patty, nice, eh?
Yeah.
Bust out with some Jamaican patty, and it's like, okay, cool, and just enjoying Jamaican food, and that's kind of like, okay, get into the whole ambiance, and then I could write.
Right. Okay. Understandable. Do you have a specific genre you like to do work in?
Um, Reggae and rock. I think my two influences, if I could fuse both of them together, pop rock and reggae, but not to where it sounds like Sublime or this California cheesy 311. Not that they're cheesy; these bands are cheesy, but they're Americanized reggae.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm trying to do is bring the authentic, bands like Third World, Barris Hammond, Gregory Isaacs, the real, authentic reggae,
Right.
and then bring it to a pop rock to where, the people that listen to pop rock will be like, yo, this is some serious stuff, but you don't have bands like Sublime. Although my favorite reggae song that is not by a Jamaican is actually Bad Fish, by Sublime. I think that's a really good, really well done reggae song by a non-Jamaican band.
That's what's up. With your job
Mm-hmm.
and music,
Mm-hmm.
how do you balance between your music and other obligations between your job and just your personal life in general?
I'm always writing. I think even when I'm not in the studio, or I'm not, having my guitar in hand or a piano, I'm always writing, and I always come up with the best stuff or the best idea, or so I'm always like creating stuff. The way I look at it is, um, it's like you're building all these ideas so that when you get to your point to where you can do what you need to do, from a family, from obligations and stuff, you're like, okay, I have all these ideas. Okay, let me get them out and puke them out, and then everything will be good again. But it comes in little drops, you know.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any artists in Raleigh that you would like to work with?
Um, in Raleigh, um, let's see. La, 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 that's a tough one. I think in South Carolina, North Carolina, I really would like to Hootie and the Blowfish, Darius Rucker is really he's from South Carolina. But anybody, that's from Raleigh, Clay Aiken, he's from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'd like to just get, to how he works, and that's pretty much who I'd like to work with.
That's dope. That's dope. With sessions,
Hmm.
do you prefer to record at your house or anywhere with someone that you're comfortable recording with?
I do all my songwriting ideas and my music, um at home, my song ideas, and then I send it off to my producer, and then we work out of a studio called Osceola Recording Studios, Dick Hodgen, and he takes my ideas and he forms it into a song. So when I send him, rough ideas of rough sketches of what the idea is, he takes it and he forms it into something good, and that's what I like to do.
Okay. Do you have another tune that you could play for us today?
Let's see. I'm actually going to play a cover, and this cover is really the song that made me want to write. It's by Matchbox 20. It's a song called 3 a.m. And it goes something like this. She says cold outside and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. And she says it's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault. And she only sleeps when it's raining, and she screams and her voice is straining. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. When she says, baby, I can't help but be scared of it all sometimes. And the rain's gonna wash away, I believe it. But she's got a little bit of something, and God, it's better than nothing. In the color portrait world, she believes that she's got it all. quite as high as he used to. She only screams when it's raining, and she screams, but her voice is straining. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. When she says, baby, well, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes, and the rain's gonna wash away, I believe it.
Really nice tune. You did a really good cover to that.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming projects?
Um, I have something in the works. I just can't disclose it. It's with a big band. That's going to be in the fall. There're going to be a couple show dates, possibly. But there's going to the official release of my EP. Um, is coming out. Those have 4 songs on it. Um, and then there's gonna be, I'm already songwriting for my next EP, which will be a more reggae fusion. The EP I'm coming out with in the fall is more of a rock kind of feel, 90s rock.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right. So with music and your personal lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think what would you say the most key thing for you is in music?
In terms of how to go about it.
Yeah, like living with music and everything as a lifestyle.
Um, I think just be humble. Just realize, always be willing to learn. Network. Get to know people in the industry. Read. I'm a documentary junkie. Just everything from rap, everything from country. I listen to everything. So don't pigeon yourself to be like, yo, I'm not gonna listen to, I see this all the time. I'm a black man, so I'm only gonna do, listen to hip hop and R&B. I'm a black man and I listen primarily to 90s rock. So
Okay. You are watching 108 in B2R Studios at Living Arts College. And today we had Kaya Black. Thank you for coming in. And what would you say, how could people reach you if they would like to contact you?
Twitter, hit me up at Kaya Black, KAYABLACK. And on Instagram, I'm official Kaya Black. And on Facebook, you can look me up, Kaya Black. And that's also Kaya Black Official. That's my handle on Facebook.
Thank you for watching 108, A108 here in the B2R Studios at Living Arts College. Would you like to play us out with a tune?
Sure. Guess it's finally over. You said you